Sarah and Max, an unlikely pair in this wild podcast. They're the perfect flair. Sarah's charm, so feminine and free. A Cali girl spirit under the podcast tree. Max a strong force with a punch in every word. Together they navigate this dating absurd. Don't forget to hit subscribe, join the crew for more laughs and tales just for you. Now back to the show.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Good for Shidduchim. I'm your host, Sarah Levine. With me, I have Max Landisman.
Did you officially change your name yet, or
No.
it's still Levine?
It's going to be Levine.
I hear you.
I'm not changing my name.
Oh, ever?
Ever.
That was on the prenup?
Yep. Yes, it was.
I don't know. Whatever.
It's very, very annoying to change my name.
Shidduchim.
I just wanted to let you guys know we have our AC on in the background, so if you hear a little bit of humming,
It's gotten too hot.
it's
I'm sorry.
so
It's
hot.
Too hot now.
We have to have the AC on, or we cannot
function.
function. But anyways, if you guys like us, subscribe to our podcast. Please leave 5-star reviews. If you like what we say, if you don't like what we say, you can always email us at goodforshidduchim@gmail.com. We have an Instagram page as well, which is at goodforshidduchim. You can find some updates and Max's nice memes on there as well.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Continue with the series of guys in Shidduchim. And I was on Sticky Situations this week. This was great. This is an Upper West Side dating podcast, which, I mean, yeah. First of all, when she asked me to come on, she sent me like the rules or whatever. She's like, number one, I need you to keep it clean, and number two, you can't say like certain things. I'm like, I have nothing else to say.
You're like, so then you may as well not have me on.
Yeah, but I come off as comedic more, so it's more light. So it was a great interview.
Okay,
Thanks,
good.
Rachel, for having me on.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sticky Situations.
Yeah,
go and follow them.
she's great.
Yeah. Just wonderful.
Shidduchim. Yeah, you guys should follow her. Do you know what hers is?
Sticky Situations.
It's on Spotify, right?
It's on Spotify. Yeah, it's on Spotify and all that stuff.
Okay, so Max, you want to take away this topic?
This topic happened to me recently.
Yeah.
Remember in the previous episode I mentioned that, I was sent an idea of someone who's divorced.
Yeah.
So I looked in whatever. I asked some questions, fine. I ended up approving the match, fine.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ended up getting timed out. So then I'm like, in my mind, I'm like people are complaining all the time, like, oh, I'm divorced, and like no one said, and how does this time out? At least say no.
Right.
Or at least say no, whatever.
Right. I mean, you're putting your time into just finding out about her in general, and then once you're like, okay, fine. I think it would be a good idea.
Yeah, how's this good for Shidduchim? So I brought it up to you, and you're like, oh yeah, I used to let matches time out all the time. I'm like, what? Hold on 1 second. What does that even? You're like, well, we didn't want to say no because then we would be bombarded with questions from the shadchanim.
Yeah.
And we just didn't want to deal with it. Yeah. So we would just let it time out. And I'm like, so nothing would happen then? And you're like, no, what would happen? I don't understand.
Yeah,
like,
so
such a woman concept.
So basically, first of all, I don't know how I feel about like allowing the amount of time granted for these timeouts. I think 5 days. I think it's 5 days on some of these websites. I feel like that's a lot of time. I feel like it should be at least 2 days. Like you call her references or you don't call her references, and there's at least 3 to 5 references on each resume.
There's 12 references on references.
Right. So like you're bound to just call somebody and somebody will answer. Mm-hmm. So 5 days, I feel like, in my opinion, is just a long time. I feel like it should be down to like 1 or 2 days.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, because you don't want to waste anybody's time. Like, I understand you want to do some research and you don't know this person really. And so you want to do some research like before you go out with them. But I mean, you don't need 5 days. But I was on one of these websites, and when I would get somebody who I just was not interested in, or like so off for me, at first I would say no for XYZ reasons, right? They give you a list of reasons why. I would say why, and then the shadchans would bombard me.
That's crazy.
They would say, don't just base it off looks. Don't just base it off of the personality, like about me section. Like, don't base it off of that. Don't base it off of what he wrote. And I'm like, okay, so
that's the whole profile.
Telling me, to disregard the whole entire profile,
right?
And disregard
just say yes.
everything.
Just say yes.
Right. And just say yes. Because you sent it to me.
That's right.
Because you want me to go out with him.
That's right.
So what I noticed is that if I let it time out, I wouldn't get so much flack for it.
Wow,
I would get a lot.
crazy.
I would get more. I would get flack for it, but not as much if I was saying no.
This is great. I had no idea this was going on behind the
So
scenes.
I was like, I'd rather be harassed with, "Hey, Sarah, like, can you not let this time out? Hey, Sarah, like, look at this guy," rather than, "Why don't you want to go out with him?" You can't just say, like, personality. You can't just say for religious reasons. You can't say this. You can't say that. I would rather, I didn't like to hear that. So I would rather, like, let it time out.
Makes sense.
There were a couple times where I was actually harassed so much from these shadchans that I was like, fine, I'll just go out with this guy.
Oh my gosh.
And it was always bad. And you know what? I was going out for them. I wasn't
shidduchim.
going out for me.
Of course.
So that's why I was like, okay, I have to either get off this website or kind of just say no and give a reason and just be okay
Just
with
hold
that
it,
reason.
hold it, yeah.
So that's what I did.
That's crazy because when I say no and I put the reason, whatever it is, no one even contacts me. Ever.
Well, that is nice.
Isn't it just... Well, I don't think that's nice either. I don't know how nice that is either because I feel like if you don't learn from... They're not mistakes, but meaning you're trying to narrow down a match for somebody, right?
Right.
If you're just throwing a bunch of stuff to see what sticks, you're just blindly throwing stuff out. But if you learn about the person, you learn like, why don't, meaning not in a threatening way, like, how dare you say no to this person? It's more like, what really, to be very open,
Yeah.
more like therapeutic, to get to the bottom of what really don't you like about that person. And because I think that will help a future match versus just like you keep sending the same type of person and you keep saying no and they don't see like a pattern or anything or get to learn from there.
Did you give a reason though?
I always give a reason. I don't write it though. I just
Wait, so what would you like them to say back though? Like when you say no for whatever reason, what do you want them to say?
I personally work with one shadchan that I work with like on a WhatsApp like very close basis.
Okay.
And I have open dialogue with her.
Okay.
Hey, is this, and I'll tell her why. I'll get to why I truly don't want to go out with that person or not, and she accepts that feedback, and then she uses it for future matches.
Right.
I think it's a great.
I know, but like on these websites, you don't have that sometimes.
Well, these are websites with shadchanim on them.
Right, but like.
So these shadchan. This is my point though. Like,
Yeah.
This is why these shadchanim don't know what the hell they're doing.
Right.
They don't.
I mean, they're just sending random.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as I said, I'm like, everything's good for shidduchim except shadchanim.
Right. But I mean, getting back to letting it time out, I just think that they do give too much time. And I just don't think that if a girl says no, it should just be no. Just like you say no and there's really no feedback after. I really think for girls, because I know it's not like that because I've experienced it. So I mean, I was also thinking like in JSwipe also they have when you start talking to somebody,
They give like 20 days or something.
I forget how many
It's
days
been a while.
it is, but it there's a countdown of an expiration as well, and you have all these guys like in your queue messages.
Not in my queue, but
Yeah, you have all these girls in your queue, and then you start talking to them, right? And after a couple days, you're like, okay, I guess like we're not talking anymore if they haven't like said anything. But then what would happen is like when it's one day about to expire, a guy would just like text me randomly on JSwipe and be like,
So you wait 2 weeks.
so he would like wait and like we would be talking and like maybe hitting it off and then silence, right? That's just how things go. And then a couple days later, when it's about to expire, he wouldn't want the match to expire, so he would just be like, hey, what's up? So that like recycles it. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like if you want to go out or if you want to like talk more, just like give me your number or I'll give you my number. Like why do you have to like go through the app and make sure it doesn't expire if you actually were interested? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, my style is very quick and to the point and get off the app.
Yeah.
That's my style. If I see like it happen, it's happened to me before, or if I message someone on like one of these apps, whatever, and she doesn't respond, in 3 or 4 days, whatever. I just delete it. I'm like, screw you. You have time, you know?
That's what I was doing. After a couple of those happened, I was like, okay, obviously you're not interested, or you are. I don't know. It's confusing. So, but I don't know. I feel like.
But this concept, like you opened up my whole new world of like what was going on. It's like abuse.
I know.
Abuse.
I know. When you were like, Sarah, why would she let it time out? I was like, you have no idea why.
The funny thing is that I did find out what happened, and supposedly she legitimately didn't see it.
That does happen too, because you don't have like these websites don't have alerts to your phone.
I get alerts.
To your phone?
Yeah, like an email or whatever.
Oh.
I got like an email. And it's like, you've got 5 days to say yes to shidduch, whatever.
So I don't know. Maybe she really was busy. And like, honestly, she maybe is not prioritizing this website specifically.
The funny thing is like, she asked the shadchan to redo the match, and she did. It's been like legit 5 or 6 days. She has not answered yet either.
Are you serious? The same girl?
I'm wondering it's because it's like I'm in the frummer world now, and in that side.
Yeah.
That people legitimately take a freaking week to make a decision.
As a reference?
Yeah.
Or like caller references.
Yeah. I never left references. I actually just left references now.
Oh.
I left references now because I want them to call my friends, and I want to see what's going on because it's great.
Okay.
Tell me about him.
Yeah.
Tell me about him.
Yeah.
He's just the greatest.
Yeah. But anyways, I personally don't think that there should be this crazy 5-day rule. Or whatever it is, 6 days. You said it was a different time for guys than it is for girls.
That's what
you said you had 4 days?
That's what it appears to be. I don't know. When I get a match on Adopt a Shadchan, it appears that I have 9 days to do something. And then
a girl does not have 9 days. That for sure. Or on Adopt a Shadchan, I'm not so sure.
No, so I think they extend the time or something. It's like, I think it says, I don't remember. I think it says 5 days, but
you can extend the time.
This girl's taking forever, so I think she got like 10 days or some crazy number.
Crazy.
Where, I mean, another girl extended it. They gave her like 12 days, so I don't know how this works really. Maybe they originally give her 5 days and then she can extend it. They can always extend whatever. I don't know, but it's like, what the hell? Like, it freaking takes forever.
Yeah.
Like, you're not, you're not buying a mortgage, whatever.
Right.
You're just going out. I always view it as like, I'm going to say like the worst situation possible.
Okay.
Where it's like someone, God forbid, marries a complete douche, which happens all the time. The guy could be a fraud. The guy could be whatever. They've gone through the references. They've gone through all the bull crap, and yet they still couldn't figure out that this guy's a fraud. It's not, I don't think it works. It doesn't work. As we mentioned in the previous episode, if somebody wants to hide something, they're going to hide it, whatever. In my opinion, I'd rather go out like 3 times, and if you're really, like if you think this is like legit, I'd hire a private investigator. If you really want to take it to that level, hire a private investigator. He will dig up everything you need to know. I'm just saying it's a very extreme thing, but I think that's a much better way of doing it. Than
Can you imagine? Oh my God, Max, there's definitely a market for
private
investigators for potential like mother-in-laws.
100%.
Oh my God, we have to start it. We have to start one.
It's a great. Private investigators make a lot of money.
Can you imagine? Like, hi, I want somebody to look at this guy for my daughter.
They're gonna look, and then they're gonna
put the money in the bag.
And then they're gonna tell the private investigator what they're looking for. They're like, we're looking for someone who's like more out of town, but not in town, but not out of town either. And he's gonna look at him like, you're an idiot.
No, he'll be like, okay, I'll follow him, I guess, and see if he goes to Lakewood. I'll see if he goes to the 5 towns.
I'm saying they know how to dig up stuff that don't want to be found. I'm saying if you want to take it, I'm just saying do I actually think you should do it? No, I do whatever you want. I'm just saying like this reference bullcrap system doesn't work. Clearly everything gets through. The people that shouldn't be getting through the cracks are getting through the cracks, and the people that should be getting through aren't getting through over the dumbest things ever.
Yeah, well, that's on her. She wants to make that decision. Yeah.
Anyways, but back to this. So apparently she just missed it, but I had no idea that this was a thing where women were constantly being harassed. Like if you said no to somebody, and you're like, how could you say that?
Well, how do you feel about having days instead of instead of having to, 1 day or 2 days about this 5-day
It's hard to
expiration.
say. I mean, like, for me, yeah, it shouldn't take forever, but I understand where they're coming from. If they actually, maybe they're busy, they can't call the references, whatever it is. I can understand 5 days. A week is like, already a week plus is already like out of control.
Yeah.
If you can't come up with time to figure this out, then you shouldn't be dating anyways.
Right.
That's my opinion.
Right.
I'm too busy. Then you're too busy to date also.
I will say it is hard though, because when you're dating off of these online dating sites, it really is random, and like you really don't know who you're getting. So I understand if you want a reference call, but it does not have to take that long time.
I mean, when you say random, like
it is random.
No, I know, but we're in such a tight pool. It's not so out of left.
But she is.
This isn't Tinder. Like
no,
Tinder, you literally can extract diseases from all over the world.
No, it's not Tinder, but I mean, it kind of is in a way, because you don't know this girl. And she doesn't know you.
But they're all from like the same areas. They're typically we're pretty insulated.
But still, it's.
I mean, like, and how many times does a girl come up? I've seen her 3 or 4 times already.
Right, but she probably wants to, get to at least know a little bit more about you rather than what's on the resume. But does it take 5 or 6 days? No. I
don't think it does. I think 5 days is all right. I mean, like, whatever. You can give them 5 days.
5 days.
Everyone can get busy. Whatever.
Yeah, that's true. But you also have time. I think you also don't. I meant to say you also don't have the time. You're also busy, and like, I don't know.
It's true. I mean, I don't disagree with you. It just comes down to nobody knows what the hell they're doing. Like, know what you're looking for, and just get the answer to it, and that's it. Like, how long does this take?
Right.
Even if people answer the question, they don't believe it anyway. So what different? It doesn't matter.
Right.
I've got to call 12 other references. I've got to call their 3rd grade Rebbe.
Right. But
it's overkill. It's overkill.
Yeah. Well, that's our thoughts on it.
It used to be like if a girl took over a week, like I would be
sometimes I would forget.
I would be so turned off.
Like
so turned off.
I would forget. Like I would get somebody's resume and I'd be like, okay, let me look into them. I'd probably say yes, and then like 2 to 3 weeks later, I'd get a call like, okay, he said yes. I'm like, who now? What guy? Like 2 to 3 weeks later.
You got a resume and then he responded 2 weeks later?
Yeah, like 2 or 3 weeks later.
You got it first or whatever?
I think we got it at the same time. It was more of a mutual thing.
Got you. Probably Upper West Side guy.
No Upper West Side guys have resumes, really.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we also wanted to bring up something that was interesting that's happening.
Other news, in
other
the Yeshiva
news.
Shabbat.
Yeah, in the Yeshiva community, a lot of Rosh Yeshivas are meeting in Lakewood. And
in an emergency shidducha meeting. This is not a joke. This is really,
It's an emergency shidducha meeting with the Rosh Yeshivas. They're meeting in Lakewood, and basically
I couldn't even read the note. It was all in Hebrew or Yiddish or whatever it is.
Oh,
Shlomi had to read it.
Shlomi's
the one who told it to us.
Yeah, Shlomi told it to us, but like I didn't know it was in Yiddish or Hebrew.
No, I think it was Hebrew. My mistake.
Okay.
Hebrew.
Basically, women were coming to Rosh Yeshivas or the Rebbes, and they were talking about, they're like 24, 25, and they feel that they're losing hope in like the dating world, in the yeshivish dating world. They're not married. They're having a really hard time because of their age, which is, in my opinion, very young.
Right.
So the Rebbeim decided to discuss, this problem, I guess.
Right. And so what is the issue? I guess what's happening now. I mean, it's always been like this, I believe, is the guys would typically learn 4 or 5 years.
So the question, right. So the question was coming up as like you were saying, the guys in this circle usually learn for a couple years after.
Not just a couple, like 4 or 5.
Right. 4 or 5 years after high school.
Right.
And then when they're transitioning into shidduchim, they'll be like, in the freezer, as you say, for a couple months.
Right. The freezer is like if you go to Lakewood.
In these circles.
No, it's just Lakewood, I believe.
No, it's everywhere.
The freezer's everywhere?
In the yeshivish circles, it's everywhere.
Fine, okay.
And then they would start dating girls that were 19, 20. Meanwhile, these boys were 23, 24, 25 maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
And so what would happen is the guys who are just coming out of learning are also fresh in dating, and they would not be open-minded, I guess, to dating a girl who was their same age, because she's been dating. She has, experience in this
she's
dating.
Got mileage.
So exactly. So they're either intimidated by this, or they genuinely just don't want to date. Right. They just don't want to date somebody who is they want the new car with 0 miles. Right, exactly. So this was obviously creating a problem, and the Rebbeim were suggesting or talking about, I don't think anything came of it yet, but they were suggesting that the guys start dating younger, and because if they start dating younger at age 20 or 21,
right.
that they'll marry somebody also closer to them in their age, and they will also then go on to learn.
Continue to learn.
Yeah, then they'll continue to learn. So that will basically close the gap with them basically
with that age gap.
With that age gap, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So it kind of levels the playing field, I guess, a little bit. If a guy has been dating a little bit and he's learning, he's been dating, from 20, 21, now he's 23, 24, and he's been dating for a couple years now, it opens his mind a little bit more to dating a girl who also is 23, 24, who also has been dating a little bit. So I guess that's kind of where they're trying to, come in and see if that would help with the shidduch, I guess, age problem.
Age gap, whatever.
Age gap.
Yep.
And we just thought it was an interesting thought. We personally, both of us, Max and I,
we're not in that world.
We are not in the yeshiva circles. I mean, we have exposure to it because
I went to Merkaz, whatever.
Right, you were a little bit more yeshivish back in the day.
I guess.
My sister is Haredi. We're not ignorant.
It's funny,
I would say.
Yeah,
but we aren't in that circle right now. So we just thought it was a very interesting take. Will it work? I don't know.
We shall see.
We'll see.
But this is our opinion, and to see what first of all, I know what a lot of people are thinking, especially if you're not worried, well, he's 20, they're 25, of course, we all joke around about that. It's like, oh my gosh, you're not married, what's going to be 25? But you have to look at it from their perspective, right? You're grown up, you're going through this whole system, you're told not to be with, if you're a girl, not to be with guy, whatever, not to be with the opposite sex, ever. Then all of a sudden, one day, if you're a girl, you're 19 years old and you're told you should get married. Or if you're a guy and, apparently when you're 24, 25, when you're starting to date, that all of a sudden now you should be married.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. And especially if you're, let's talk about a guy's perspective from here.
Yeah.
That, your whole life, you apparently have quote unquote been good, whatever. You're not with girls, whatever. And now you're told okay, you need to pick one girl to marry.
But also not now you can date girls. It's more like now you have to marry one.
Pretty much.
So you go from 0 to 100.
0 to 100, 0 to 10,000, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And so, of course, you're going to be as picky as hell. They want to know why people are so picky. I think that's a big reason why.
Right.
And so, if guys want to probably go out with the 19-year-old because it's fresh, and also, again, you're waiting your whole life to go out and you want to pick the perfect girl for you, it sounds wrong. Why can't he go out with the 25-year-old? But to see it from their perspective, I think you can have a little rahmanas on it and to understand what they're going through.
Right. No, I understand. No, it's a lot. I personally just think that the Rebbeim should just kind of guide the men to be a little more open-minded. Will this work? I don't know, but I think that they just need to guide them and being going out with a girl who has more experience in dating, or who has been dating a lot longer than you, is okay. A girl who is close to your age is okay. Giving that more of advice rather than, okay, let's try to get you married closer to the girl's age and then you go to yeshiva. That could work. But I mean, it's not guaranteed for everybody, you know.
It's never guaranteed for anything.
Right. It's not going to close the gap on it. And I think that they should just give more chizuk and more like attention of just telling them to be more open-minded.
From my perspective, I don't know how you can go till 25 without a woman. Like, that's like suicide.
What do you mean?
Like, that's a long time to not be with a girl. I don't know.
Like dating in general?
Yeah, like to be, yeah, like to, like that's 20, that's like totally unnatural. I feel like.
I mean, maybe they've been learning for, you know, for 5 years or 6 years.
Okay,
I don't know.
Congrats. I was in yeshiva also. I also, you know.
I know, but I mean, I don't know. maybe they were dating on the side and not telling their mom or their rabbi.
That could be too. It happens to be like the more
sneaking in a date here and there.
It's funny because like the more chashuva people that I know all dated in high school. It's like the rabbi of our shul dated in high school.
Yeah, my sister and my brother-in-law, they
dated in high school. And look at them now.
Yeah.
See. So yeah, I'm against the concept of just like make someone feel horrible or scare someone to not be with the, you know, to just hang out with the other person, whatever, because they did it to me in high school. I know you're gonna be like, oh well, you went into a modern high school or mixed high school, so therefore you don't know what the hell, you know. No, that's not true. They brought in some rabbi, which I put in quotations. I don't think he's a real rabbi. I think he's a piece of trash.
Okay,
you know,
Max,
whatever. Comes in and starts talking about Shomer Nagia when half the room probably didn't even daven Shacharis. Talking about Shomer Nagia, whatever. People don't even keep Shabbos, and this is the one thing he focuses on. And so he talks about like the Shomer Nagia concept, whatever. And bear in mind, at the time, I was a very frum guy. I stayed away from all the crap in general.
Right.
But then, you know, he comes in with this thing that scared the hell out of me, which I think had a big part of my life, which is, well, if you're not Shomer Nagia, if you're with someone, let's say, and, you know, your Bashert is out there, you're supposed to meet your Bashert or whatever, but you could miss it. And if you miss it, you're done for the rest of your life.
Right.
He said something like this. And so that freaked the hell out of me. Meaning, like, if you're, God forbid, with a girl too prematurely, then therefore you could potentially miss your bashert forever.
Yeah.
Like, that freaked the hell, you know.
That would freak.
Apparently I was the only one that I was freaked out. Apparently that only freaked me out. Maybe.
Because the other ones are like, well, I have a girlfriend and I'm not going to not be showing with her.
I was like, well, I don't keep Shabbos anyway, so, you know, whatever.
Right.
First of all, again, did I mention this rabbi should go screw himself?
Okay.
Whatever.
Max.
He's not a rabbi. Whatever.
Okay. But I understand your point, and I understand that guys can be, I mean, scare tactics definitely work, obviously.
Do they?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think
it scared you.
Yeah, but that it backfires.
Right. No, I'm saying like
it doesn't work.
It works, and like when it, I guess, in a certain way, it did work though for you, and then it could backfire.
And it did backfire.
Yeah.
Because I resent it today.
Yeah, I understand.
I think there's a much better way of dealing with it.
Yeah, for sure. But going back to these Rebbeim, the Rosh Yeshiva there, I really think that what they really need to do is really just keep an open mind about this whole thing. But I mean, that could just be my naive modern Orthodox self opening up here and just saying my opinion, because I mean, it's not to say that everybody is going to get married, you know, when they're 20 and 21.
Right.
It's no guarantee. So what do you do with these people
but I do want to defend. I do want to defend the guys here. Not that I think it's right. Like, you know me. Like, if someone's in our circle and they're not going out with someone who's like a year older, then they can go screw themselves. Like, that's absolutely stupid.
Okay.
But
no, I understand. I understand what you're saying.
It's just like, I just don't think it's fair to tell a guy like, you're not allowed to go out until you're 24, 25, and like, this is one of the biggest decisions of your life. And so
that's what I'm saying is that they really should stop doing the scare tactic in that way.
Okay, so you're saying like, let them go out whenever, and
be more open-minded.
Is that what you mean by that?
Yeah.
Because I thought what you meant by open-minded meaning like tell these kids like, just because she's 24 doesn't mean it's, you know, you shouldn't go out with them. I thought that's what you meant.
No, both ways. Being open-minded in both ways.
I feel like if they didn't, right. So I feel like if they didn't just put so much damn pressure.
Exactly. Take the pressure off. Take the pressure off. Right.
So much pressure. Relax.
Relax. Release the pressure. Like,
how many?
Don't put all this pressure on these boys, and then also pressure on these girls. You know, there's a lot of pressure going on everybody's end here.
I think ultimately that's why there's such a problem with the age thing, because there is so much.
Exactly.
So instead of getting angry with the gal or the schmuck, whatever, I think, we should come to more. It's really unlike me to say we should understand more, but in this case,
that's what we should
yeah.
do. I don't think there's a guarantee if you tell these guys, you know, okay, now you start dating a little younger, that there's going to be a guarantee where this closes a gap. What will be a guarantee is just kind of relaxing, putting less pressure on both sides, and being more open-minded.
Right. So I guess in this case, what's out on the table is what is currently is guys wouldn't go out until they're 23, 24, 25, whatever.
Yeah.
And so now I guess they'll go to yeshiva for a couple of years and then start dating, and then probably a lot of them will get married 20, 21, whatever. And
that the guys would get married and then go to yeshiva. That's what it's saying now.
So what it is today?
Yeah.
What it is today? Yeah, they go to yeshiva, but it's not like in our world they go to yeshiva for a year or two. No, they're going to yeshiva.
All right.
It's like they'll learn in America for 3 years and then go to Israel for 4 years or something like that.
Right.
Everyone's different, but that's the more yeshiva shavel type stuff.
Yeah.
I love saying that word. But
that's just our humble modern Orthodox opinion on a yeshivish matter, I guess. But
I just thought the fact that they had an emergency shidduch meeting was the best.
Yeah.
But I don't think anything's gonna solve everything, but I do think this actually is a good idea.
Yeah.
At
least they're talking about it.
At least they're
discussing. They're trying to. They see there's an issue and they're trying to reach a solution.
Right.
I don't agree with the solution, but
we disagree with a lot of things that goes on in that world. But
I'm happy to hear that they're trying.
Right. Do I think that they should be selling people off wholesale, basically where a mass amount of people are getting married at 21? I'm not the biggest fan of that, but I could see it for this whatever. I think it's better than waiting till 20. I also am of the opinion that women do enhance their learning a lot. If it wasn't for a woman, Rebbe Akiva wouldn't even exist. I'm sorry. There is no one of the greatest Rebbeim ever would never have existed unless it was for a woman. I think you should go learn.
Okay.
So what was he doing before? He was freaking whatever.
Okay. I mean, if it enhances your learning, then that's great.
Because a lot of yeshiva guys would be like, well, if we date earlier, we can't learn as well, whatever. That's their. I was talking to Shlomi before the show.
Yeah, he said it brings clarity. That's his opinion.
No, so that's what the Rosh Yeshiva are saying, and that's what I think. I also think your time management is so much better. When you're just single, your time management is just you have all the time in the world, quote unquote. You do what you want. There's no But if you're married, you're probably gonna have dinner with your wife, right? That's probably set in stone. I don't know. Everyone's got their
everyone's
thing.
dynamics are different.
Shana Rishona, whatever.
Yes, but anyways, that is what we had to say for today.
Yep. What's your opinion, though?
If you guys have your opinion on any topics that we were discussing, please email us at goodforshidduchim@gmail.com. Our Instagram is @goodforshidduchim. Follow us, like us, subscribe to us, DM us, and we'll see you next time.
Bye. And remember, everything will always be about shidduchim. Catch you in the next episode.